Welcome to Traxos, Scourge of Kroog. I hope you're excited to start clanking around some artifacts and get Traxos out on the battlefield. But before we jump into the deck tech, this is brought to you by mtgotraders.com. Let's take a look at Traxos, Scourge of Kroog. So we're looking at 4 total mana, legendary artifact creature, trample. Whenever Traxos enters the battlefield, tapped and does not untap during your untap step. And then whenever you cast a historic spell, untap Traxos. And if you're keeping score at home and a historic spell is going to be an artifact, legendary creature, or a planeswalker, and a saga. Now, as far as this particular build of Traxos, there's a lot of different ways that you can go with Traxos. You can go with Traxos Voltron. I decided to kind of build more of a... I've never built a colorless deck on the channel before, so I really wanted to kind of build like a good stuff deck. Something that wasn't entirely dependent upon Traxos swinging in at our opponent. One of the good things about going with that particular build is, if you do end up building a Traxos Voltron deck, it's a lot of fun, and I can see where it'd be a lot of fun to play, but kind of puts the deck into a boom or bust style situation. By us kind of going for more of a good stuff artifact deck, we can get down Traxos very early on. Traxos only costs 4, and then we can start swinging in at our opponent, putting some pressure on there. Hopefully kind of chewing up the resources, dealing with Traxos, and then we can kind of finish the game out with stuff like Wormcoil Engine and then Steel Hellkite swinging in the air. But that's kind of the preemptive game plan right now. Other than that, we just got a lot of fun artifacts in here. In fact, let's go and take a look at a few of them right now. Now, one of the good things that you definitely want to run is going to be some sort of card draw. We're running stuff like Staff of Nin, Mind's Eye, the Immortal Sun. We are running some Planeswalkers in here, but the Immortal Sun is so good, giving us that reduced cost, that +1/+1, and drawing an additional card draw that we're still going to run it in here, even though it kind of nerfs some of our Planeswalkers. Mind's Eye, we're going to be able to pay that 1 to draw a card, and the Staff of Nin is going to be able to keep those tokens in check, and at the same time drawing some cards. Now, outside of the kind of bigger converted mana cost draw spells, we're also running a few lower costs that's going to allow us to draw or scribe or filter with the Azor's Gateway. Once we get, there's a lot of different converted mana costs in here, so we're probably going to get to a spot where we might be able to get Azor's Gateway flipped. We don't really have a ton of ways to kind of sink that mana into some sort of big X spell. I'm not playing mono black or something like that. So really kind of for this deck, Azor's Gateway is a little bit more of a filtering thing, just to kind of dig a little bit deeper into your library. Now, outside of the actual card draw for the deck, we have some really good ways to kind of produce some mana outside of just simply mana rocks. We have stuff like Blinkmoth Urn. We're going to be able to add colorless mana to our mana pool equal to the number of artifacts we control during our main phase. We're also running Mishra's Workshop. Mishra's Workshop is cheaper. This is kind of more geared towards the Magic Online players. I'm pretty sure Mishra's Workshop is pretty expensive in real life, but adding that 3 mana to your mana pool to cast some artifact spells, you end up with the turn 2 Kroog, Traxos sounds pretty good. And they're also running Unwinding Clock. Untap all artifacts you control during each player's untap step. That's going to allow us to get into some situations to where, let's say we have some activated abilities, or simply untapping our mana rocks, we'll have a little bit extra access to some mana. We're also running Metalworker in here. Reveal any number of artifact cards from your hand, add 2 colorless mana. It's a great way to ramp with the deck. And then Clock of Omens, so, like I said, this deck's kind of an artifact good stuff deck, so as far as Clock of Omens is concerned, we can use it as a mana source, but at the same time, we can use it to untap something like Azor's Gateway or the Sunset Pyramid to get a little bit extra card draw. Now, outside of card draw and mana producing stuff, we have some good removal in here. Typically, the going rate for some sort of removal in a colorless deck is going to be about 7 mana. So we have Universal Solvent, it costs 1, but it has 7 mana activation. Spine costs 7, and then Unstable has a 7 mana activation. So that's pretty much going to be the going rate for getting rid of some stuff. Outside of that, we're also running Scour from Existence and then All Is Dust. So once again, keeping on that 7 mana theme, All Is Dust is actually really good for the deck because each player sacrifices all colored permanents they control. So if you can run a deck where you're going to have a one-sided board wipe, sometimes that might kind of help you win the game. Outside of some situational removal, we're also running some board wipes in here. We have Oblivion Stone, Larry David's Disc, and Duplicate. Duplicate's not really a board wipe, but I just wanted to include it in this line too. But yes, Oblivion Stone and Larry David's Disc are going to be our options for at least kind of keeping the board in check. The only downside to Larry David's Disc is that destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. That is pretty brutal to us too if we end up going for that. So if you can get it into spots where you can get down Larry David's Disc and activate it without doing a lot of self-harm to yourself, but if you got to go for it, you got to go for it. So sometimes that does happen. Now, outside of the artifact removal, we're running some planeswalkers in here that kind of keeps us open. I'm running Karn, Scion of Urza. We're going to use that +1 ability to kind of look at the top 2 cards of our library, kind of filter through there. And if we get into a spot where we simply just need to start going beat sticks, we can go for that -2 activation to create those construct artifact tokens. We're going to get +1 for each artifact we control. Ugin is absolutely king in this deck with the -X ability. That's 1 or more colors. that's going to be allow us to kind of go for a one-sided board wipe. And then Karn, you know, it's always great to get down Karn. It really kind of puts your opponent in a weird pressure position getting down Karn, because you're going to be able to get to that ultimate pretty quick. Now, outside of the Planeswalkers, we're running some good utility. You're kind of finished creatures in here. We have Mirror Battlefield, Wormcoil Engine, and Steel Hellkite. They all serve a different purpose, other than when I was building this deck, I just kept thinking about how good Mirror Battlefield would look as a Kaladesh Invention. I mean, look at that. That would look amazing. I don't know. I could not get that thought out of my head. But anyway, these are some of our beat stick creatures. And we're also running the Super Mario Brothers. We have Hangerback Walker and Walking Ballista as another way for us to kind of dump some mana in there. We're also running a very small graveyard pack. Not small graveyard, but some sort of graveyard interaction. We have Mirror Retriever. Whenever it dies, we can return target artifact from our graveyard to our hand. Trading Post is going to keep us open as far as what we want to do. And then Scrap Trawler, once again, keeping on thing with that Mirror Retriever. We're also running KCI in here. Is another way for us to start sacrificing some of our artifacts. So you can see where if we use KCI to sacrifice Mirror Retriever or Scrap Trawler, we're going to be able to get into some extra kind of value off of that. And they're also running Treasure Keeper. You know, if it dies, we reveal until you hit a convert mana, it costs 3 or less. You know, just a fun way to kind of start filtering through your library. Outside of the actual artifacts, we have some good stuff. We want to make sure that if we are going Traxos Beat 6, we have some protection for Traxos. We have Not of This World, counter target spell or ability that targets a permanent you control. There's no better feeling than having Traxos on the battlefield and countering something with Not of This World for free. I mean, it's one of the best Magic feelings in the world. Simply just having that option to go for that. You should build Traxos just to be able to go for Not of This World. Just get like 98 waste and put Not of This World in there, and just build an all-land deck with Traxos and have some fun. But anyway, we're also running Darksteel Forge and then Batterskull. Like I said, you know, you can go heavy Voltron with Traxos, but as far as this particular build, I wanted to go good stuff. So kind of Batterskull's in this weird position to where it's like a good utility creature, but at the same time, if we need to throw that onto Traxos, we can certainly get that done. And you want to make sure your Traxos looks good for all your opponents as you swing into them. So you're going to have Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves to make sure that you're going to be able to swing in. Outside of the actual protection from Traxos, we just have some good utility cards for the deck. Running Staff of Domination, we can tap down a creature, draw some cards. Vedelican Ori is going to allow us to start flashing in some of these artifacts. You know, feels good to kind of flash in Spine to take care of something. And we also have Plainier Bridge, which is going to be our tutor source for the deck. Titan's Presence is also included in the deck. You know, it's a little. We're only running around 10 to 15 creatures in here, so Titan's Presence is a little situational, but feels really good to be able to reveal a big creature out of your hand and then exile a card. And they're also running Expedition Map. You know, it's going to keep us online. We are running a colorless mana base. We do have the Tron pieces in here. Let's say that we need to grab Maze of Ith. Let's say that we want to grab Mishra's Workshop. Expedition Map is going to be absolutely great for the deck and allowing us to kind of grab whatever spot land we need for that given time. That's going to be it for the deck tech, though. I do have 3 gameplay videos up for you right now, so if you want to head on over there and check them out, go for it, and hope you have fun watching them. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.